There you are. Yay, it worked.
It did. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. Just it's so weird. I'm used to doing these at night and I'm like, oh, the sun. Ah.
Yeah, the time difference definitely doesn't help, does it?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's whatever works for you. I mean, it's better than doing it like 11 o'clock at night or 3 a.m., I guess. I have had to do that sometime. But all right, so we're here to discuss Seven Broken and Bound. That's going to be your premiere novel, and it's coming out.
In December, hopefully. That's the plan.
Okay, okay. And so, first, tell us a little bit about you, how you got started, why you got started, and how this book, this thought, this idea came about for this.
Okie dokie. Well, as you probably know, I'm a dad, so I've got a little girl. Very, very into reading and inspiring her to be, all that she can be. I also randomly created a YouTube channel 2 years ago. And at the beginning of last year, it got modified, and I was like, you know what? If I can do that, we'll try a hand at writing a book. And that's when I was like, yeah, sure, let's do this. And completely out of my depth, had no idea what I was doing. But I figured it would be, a nice story to talk to you about my, with my daughter later when she's grown up, and, something for her to be proud of and stuff like that too. So, yeah, that's how I kind of got started. And the story itself is just like a mixture of all the movies and stories that I've loved over the years and that have inspired me. Something that I'd want to see in the future.
Yeah, because when we were talking about it, it's kind of, I mean, it starts off pretty tragic in what he has to go through and, being accused, being innocent, being thrown into this dystopian kind of prison hell and stuff like that. So, I mean, where does, I guess, the cyberpunk aspect come into it in the
I,
book?
I love cyberpunk. I love cyberpunk. I think it's a fascinating genre. There's Blade Runner, for instance, or Judge Dredd, another great, great movie. And there's games as well, like Cyberpunk, inspirations from all of that. And so all of that, kind of elements kind of go into this book, or helped inspire, this story. So it's kind of set in a cyberpunk, futuristic story. And
Right.
cyberpunk's everywhere. Everyone's modified, and got all these augmentations and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
and Seven, the main character, he has nothing. He's just an average Joe, going through life. He's
Right.
avoided it so far.
Yeah. But again, he goes through this event in his life where he ends up losing his wife and his kid, losing, however you want to say it. I don't want to give too much away of what we talked about and everything. And so he ends up in this impossible place. But there's going to be this, I guess, suspenseful journey that he's going to have to go on, or
Yeah. He really goes through a massive arc, and he evolves as a character, and quite significantly as well. You find out that the only thing that really matters to him is family. And so, he has to go on that journey to get his family back.
now is this one going to go into another, or is this going to be a standalone?
No, it's going to be a trilogy. That's definitely a trilogy up for this. Absolutely. I dabbled with the idea of ending it as a one and done, but my way of ending it would have been a little bit sad for readers, so I decided to continue it.
Yeah, they don't tend to like they don't tend to like that. But I guess
No.
it depends on what genre. Like romance, they want it happily ever after. But who knows, in another genre, they'd be like, no, we need to end it like with a boom.
Yeah.
So yeah, romance is kind of predictable. So well, whatever. But so with everything he's gonna have to go through, the loss, the imprisonment, everything like that, did you? How did you, or if you had to, how did you deal with any kind of emotional impact that it may have had on you, or especially having a daughter? Like, was there any kind of times that you had to step back and be like, I need to get back into this world because this is just too much right now? Anything like that?
No, I didn't really have anything like that, to be fair. I did feel that when I was writing it, I was trying to make it, impactful enough, and I was trying to draw on my own feelings that I may have if this was happening to me. Obviously, I can relate, father and daughter. Um, but in general, for me, the biggest struggle was just time, just finding the time to fit in the writing and to get it all done, and the multiple, editings that needed to, yeah.
Dressers. Okay. Okay. And how did you go about molding Seven into the character that he is? Is it the same? You kind of took a multiple of, movies and stuff like that, or is it
For
you?
me, he always existed. It was really about shining a torch, into the book to see what he would do next. It was kind of just very natural with Seven and with his character, because I had a very good idea of what I wanted from him going in. He wasn't your typical action hero. He was just a simple guy. He was just a father in the wrong place at the wrong time, having to go through all these experiences, and he has to figure it out.
All right. Well, that's definitely a different twist on things. Yeah, you get usually these alphas, these heroes, these born to be like this. You're bringing in just, it could be anybody off the street.
Yeah, he's not an alpha at all. In fact, I loved, like, when I very first wrote the book, I handed out the first couple of chapters and that, just to get, the first impressions. And the way the first chapter ended, so many people were just like, I was not expecting that. I was expecting this and this and this. And I was like, well, this is a little bit different.
Okay, so don't expect to expect something. just keep reading, because it's not going to be what you expect, which is wonderful. I went through that with a book recently. I'm like, this is about to happen, isn't it? And she's like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, no, that went totally went somewhere else. I don't know, because I'm one of those people that is really bad about watching a movie and being like, hey, blah, 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 and then it happens and they're like, shut up. So that's
I'm the same. Terrible. I'm always being told off by my partner.
No. I'm not allowed to watch movies with people anymore. Whatever. So what about, I know it's mostly about Seven, but do we get to, I guess, get a little bit of the daughter and the wife kind of, so we can kind of love them, or kind of, obviously we're going to, they're going to care because of the father and stuff like that, but do we get a little touch of them in the book?
I hope so. I hope that I've managed to put in enough juicy, stuff there for you to really get involved in those characters. Most of the book happens in this prison, and you are with Seven and his thoughts. So sometimes, a couple of times, we've actually like relived days with the family, which I think helps ground the character and remind you of what he actually holds to value.
Okay, wonderful. And yeah, I like the aspect of the kind of the flashbacks. It definitely reminds you of kind of a movie, going back and being like, whether he's dreaming or whatever like that. Now, for the readers that do have certain triggers and everything, what would you say, hey, just, be aware of, this may be a trigger, this may be a trigger. What would you say could be in that category?
There's a lot of violence, and certain cases and certain times I've really tried to go into maybe the horror aspect of the prison. So maybe keep that in mind going in. This is set in a prison, and Seven does go through some bits that you definitely wouldn't want to wake up and be inside.
Okay, all right. And how did I mean, I don't know if you've been in prison or not, none of my business. But how did you, with this being not only in a place that you haven't been in, and I know we all just use our imagination at some point, but I know sometimes, if I'm writing something medically, I will get with one of my author friends that he's a Marine, or used to be a Marine doctor. He's just civilian now, civilian doctor. But, I'll ask him, does this make sense? Or do you feel I can exaggerate a little bit? And he's like, yeah, go ahead. Or no, don't do that. So how did you go about not only, I mean, I'll be honest, like, yes, I have to have an imagination to create this scene, but to go as far as some of the authors like you, to create a whole different universe pretty much, it blows my mind. I mean, I don't know, it just does. I have imagination, but for you guys to actually put it down and create this whole new world for people. It's incredible. So, I mean, is it just straight from here? Did you have people that maybe gave you advice? Maybe someone who was in prison and you kind of just merged it with the dystopian part? Did you have anything like that?
Well, personally, I've always been into stories. I love stories. I tell my daughter stories every day and night. So this story's existed in my head for a long time.
Mhm.
So when it comes to putting that onto paper, it's just making it readable for you guys rather than I already know what it says, you know? When it comes to the prison side of it, I love prison movies as well, prison stories, that kind of thing. A big fan of, the old greats, The Great Escape, for instance, and
Right.
stuff like that. So pulling inspiration from stuff like that is very easy. Trying to make it believable on that. At the same time, this is futuristic. It's sci-fi. It's set, with things that we don't quite understand and know anyway. So I found it, you get a lot of leeway with that kind of writing. People can't really fact check you because those facts only exist in your head.
Right, right. Well, and with you being a new author, but at the same time, you've had this book in your head for forever. For people who are coming up to where you are, or they may have published, but they're still just not quite there in themselves. Is there any hangups that you can kind of give us an example of that you overcame or are overcoming now, or advice on, okay, this happened to me and this is the steps I took?
Well, my biggest problem was that I've never done anything like this before. I'm not academic at all, like at all. I didn't even finish school, so there was like issues there. So it was just about getting that research in and, kind of like diving into all of the resources that are available. There's a lot of decent author tubes out there. There's a lot of good books that you can read as well to help you have some kind of direction and some kind of sense of what you're doing. I definitely felt that I probably wasted maybe 3 months of just trying to figure out where and what to start. I have this story, but how am I meant to make this a book? And so I've done a lot of needless research. So my biggest advice is just to put it on paper, or not paper, but write it, get it out there, because that's the only way your story is ever going to get read in the first place. You can polish it up later.
Right. Well, and what a lot of people like to ask is, are you a pantser or a planner?
Bit of both.
Kind of
A bit of
okay.
both. Yeah, I definitely went through the whole architect gardener type of scenario, trying to figure out which would be better for me. And I found out that I'm a bit of both. I like doing a little bit of both, a little bit of structure, mostly just I have an idea, and we're going to see what this character does as we go through it.
Okay. And are you the type of, like, right now, you're kind of a mixture, but do you have a certain goal, like, I want this to be a trilogy, and then building off of that from another character, or do you feel you're going to go in a totally different direction? I mean, like I stay typically with dark romance. Yes, I've written a contemporary, but it was for a contest, blah, blah, blah. So I'm probably going to stay with dark. Do you have plans for going different aspects, or you want to really stay with this kind of futuristic genre?
I have so much that I want to write. Being a new writer, and I'm 35 now, so I started writing this a year and a half ago, and I've never written before. So I've got all these stories that I want to tell. So although this one is going to be a trilogy, so there will be three, of this, and I'll be in this universe for a little while. There's definitely other genres that I want to explore. I've got a fantasy brewing up in my head at the moment, which I plan on starting to write early next year. I have a kids book that I'm going to be writing next month. So there's definitely lots that I want to be writing and writing quickly, including a survival book, which I'm very excited about.
I remember you telling me about that one. Can you give us a little information about that one?
At the moment, probably not. It's definitely going to be, I think it's going to be another father-daughter. I love that dynamic. I think it's going to be a little bit different as to what you think the outcome's going to be. But I haven't even started researching for that yet, but I'm very excited to.
Still in your head, still in your head. I get it. All right, so this part is a little bit just fun, kind of quick questions, and everything that kind of for the readers. Of course, everybody who's viewing, if you have any questions, please put it down and I'll go ahead and ask him. But currently, on your bedside table, what is the book?
The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3. I have The Witcher, 3 of them.
Oh, okay. Okay. Are you watching the show too, comparing, or just the books?
So it turns out that the show is very much on the books. So I was very interested to know, what else is going to come and stuff like that. I played the game, The Witcher 3, a lot. Many hours in that game, got lost in the universe. And so it's a character that I know very well and absolutely love. So.
Okay. All right. And what would you say is your most interesting quirk? Doesn't have to be about writing, but just as you as a person.
I think that maybe the fact that I'm a gamer, massive geek, love gaming, and I spend far too much of my time doing so, as I've got a YouTube channel where I do reviews and stuff like that. So I'm always seeking out new games to play.
And what is your name on YouTube? What's your handle?
The Critically Clueless.
Okay. Okay. All right. Is that on your Instagram account too? Do a link tree or anything like that?
Yes. It's on Instagram as well. I'm going to be starting up my own author tube as well, where I'm going to be the Critically Clueless Writes. So I'm going to be, kind of sharing my journey writing wise. That isn't up and running too yet, but it will be towards the end of this year.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, I would definitely want people to check that out. So if it can be your book that you're writing or just one of your favorite books gets made into a movie, who's playing Seven, or who's playing the main character in your favorite book?
Okay, so we'll go Seven Broken and Bound, simply because I spent so much time in the universe recently. Who would play these characters? There's a really interesting character called Dominic Stevens, and he's kind of like a big guy in the prison. And you kind of follow him in his journey, with Seven. They become buddies and stuff like that. But I would say Vin Diesel for him. He's definitely an interesting character that you'd want to have as a friend, and he's absolutely crazy as well. So.
Okay. And what about Seven himself? Have you thought of that?
Who would play him? Maybe a Bruce Willis. I don't know. I don't know for him. Maybe just an average Joe, maybe not Bruce Willis. I'm thinking Bruce Willis was a diehard. He wasn't your typical action hero, but he ended up saving the day in the end.
Right. Okay. And so does Dominic, does he go on the journey with Seven, or it's just during that time?
Yeah, so it ends up being, a group of 4, unlikely friends that end up going on this adventure together. It starts out as 7, but he makes some friends. And Dominic Stevens is one of the main characters.
And is he going to maybe get his own book?
I was toying with it when I wasn't gonna have this as a trilogy. I was gonna do a companion novel along with it. So I was gonna end this a certain way and continue it with 2 of the main characters, Mia and Dominic. Now Mia is an absolute firecracker. If you want a woman that can handle herself and knows what's what, she's the one you want with you. So I was gonna have those 2 kind of have a companion story, but
okay. Maybe a story, something. You never know. I have a feeling that if he's going to be a part of it, that people are going to be like, "What about Dominic? What about Dominic?" So, so I still have people asking for a character that I'm like, really? He was only mentioned twice, and but apparently when you make them interesting enough, or I guess I don't know. So I have a feeling that we're going to want a Dominic or something like that. So be prepared to figure something out on that one. But so are you going to be, just so we know, or if you don't quite know yet, is it going to be a situation where it's everywhere, or is it going to be a KU thing where you're just sticking with Amazon? Because I know there's Google, there's Apple, there's where will we be able to find this?
At the moment, I'm only looking at Amazon and Kindle Unlimited. I'm looking to do paperbacks and ebooks, but we'll see. It's something that I need to spend a bit more time looking at. I've still got a couple of weeks maybe to figure that out, but research is inbound.
Okay. All right. And of course, anybody who is missing this, it will be put on my page, as long as my phone does not overheat. It only did it once, so and it didn't get posted, but yeah. So anybody who's missed it or anything like that, also you can get with him, James Wheeler. Again, it's under a_dads_adventure. Are you going to end up turning that to author, or are you going to keep it Dad's Adventure? I want to make sure when I do post anything about you, I put the proper handle and everything.
I think eventually I might change it, yeah. Instagram was originally just something that I was doing for a bit of fun during lockdown, for me and my daughter, just showing off bits, but it's ended up being, a bit of an author platform. So it's something that I'm definitely probably going to change.
Okay, and if people do want to communicate with you, we know you have the gamer YouTube, and later there will be the author YouTube, but is Instagram the best place to contact you, or is it Twitter? Is it
Yeah, Instagram's probably the best place to have a go. I'm always on Instagram, always on my phone, as most people are these days. So
right.
Instagram's nice and easy.
So besides the books and everything like that, what do you feel is next for you? I mean, you're going to be doing all sorts of books and everything like that, but in the life of James Wheeler, where do you want to take this whole, like, you want to keep with the gaming and that be your major, or this is what you want to put forth and be your major contribution?
I refuse to pick a side at the moment. So gaming and creating novels, they're both aspects of creation. I love creating, and I think while I can do both, I'm going to keep doing both. It's something I enjoy, and I seem to be able to do both at the same time. So at the moment, it's working off really well. Yeah, we will see. I've got more than 10 books planned now, so I need to get on with them and keep going while creating all these other reviews as well for gaming.
Of course. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on, James. Y'all definitely make sure you keep an eye out for him. His book 7 Broken and Bound is going to be released in December. We'll get a date, and I'll be promoting it on my account. Please make sure you follow him so you can stay up to date. He also is on YouTube where he does gaming reviews. Do you actively play as well? Or just do...
I do a little bit of everything, really. Tips and tricks and walkthroughs and stuff. Depends what everyone wants and needs at the time.
Okay, and my daughter or son probably already saw your stuff. They like that stuff too, so they may have already seen you do that. So but yeah, thank you so much for coming on, guys. Again, James Wheeler, it's at a_dads_adventure on Instagram. That's where you can get a hold of him. Up and coming author, premiere novel in December, Dystopian Cyberpunk. Please make sure you follow him so you can keep up to date. Make sure you follow me so if your friends or anybody missed this episode, they can go back on my page and see it. I love doing this. I love seeing new authors come out and everything like that. So congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me as well.
No problem. I'll keep promoting his book and everything like that. So I'll keep you guys updated on my side. But again, please follow. And again, thank you so much for coming on. This was you just made it so easy. I'm like, it's, oh my gosh, I'm used to.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I don't know. You're very laid back, and that's really cool. And you know where you're going. And I know that especially in this world, there's, you start to doubt yourself, you start to struggle, and but it's wonderful to see another author that knows where they want to go with this, but at the same time they have this separate hobby that can pull them out of that slump, because I know sometimes we get consumed with this one hobby or job that we can't get out of our funk. So it's wonderful to have that. Yeah, and that's one of the things I've discovered is find something, a hobby outside of that. You've got to, because you're gonna get in that slump. So I'm really happy that you have these books planned. I'm excited for it to come out. I'm definitely going to get one for me, hopefully a signed one. Wink, wink. For me, and I definitely want to get it for. Oh yes, that age. Is there a restriction, you think?
I think it's definitely more of an adult book. I'd say 15 plus probably.
Yeah. All right, that's my son. So yeah, he's really mature, but he likes that kind of stuff and everything like that. So, all right. Well, thank you again, James. Everybody, make sure you follow him, and don't forget, go be naughty.